Hello my friends, welcome to Prime Strings. I'm Henriette and I'm delighted to see you here today. Today is day 21 and we will be learning Minuet number 2 and we will be building on our skills from day 20. So let's get started and I'll play you the tuning notes. Now, let's warm up with the scale. The minuet that we are learning is written in the key of G major, so we will practice the 2-octave G scale and arpeggio today. We will start with the scale, and because we will need that bow stroke in the piece, we will be playing the scale in 3 times with our bow going down, up, up of each note of the scale. I'll show you how. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So down, up, up. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Well done. Now let's play the arpeggio. If you can, try to play the arpeggio from memory, and otherwise you can find this arpeggio in Suzuki Book 1 on page 36 at letter A. So here we go, long bows and will have recognized that the letter names of the arpeggio notes are, of course, G, B, D, G, B, D, and a G at the top. Now I'll play you the minuet on page 39, and I'll play you the first 4 lines. Now you will probably have noticed the bowing in bars 2 and 4. That bowing is the same bowing as we played in our scale, like a down, up, up. In this piece though, we have to cross the strings from the E string to the D string. So let's practice that separately before we start. So I'm going really slowly. And that's what we're practicing. Now when you play the second finger on the E string, your elbow is in its lowest position. So now that we go to the D string, you need to lift up your elbow so that your bow gets to the right level for playing on the D string. Let's practice that a few times, shall we? So drop your elbow on the E string. Now lift your elbow up, and we'll do it again. Lower your elbow, lift your elbow, that's it. Now let's play the first bar. We will go very, very slowly so you can work out the notes. And so let's try this bar again. The first bar and okay, so our fingers are 3 on D, 1 on A, 3 on A, 2 on E, A, 1 on E. We'll do it one more time and then we're going to join up the whole first line. Keep slow for now and well done. What a good start that is. So a few lessons ago we talked about how to count a piece, and today I would just like to develop that counting a little bit further. As you can see, this piece is in 3 time. At the start your time signature tells you 3/4 time. That means that there are 3 crotchet beats in each bar. Now the first bar you can see is only quavers. Now quavers go twice as fast as crotchets, as you may know. And when we see quavers in counting, we use the word and. So we'll count 1 and 2 and 3 and that way I can still keep track of where my individual beats are, 1, 2 and 3, but I can also already hear the speed of the quavers, 1 and 2 and 3 and. Then bar 2, has got 3 crotchets in, so we'll count 1, 2, 3. Bar 3 is then 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3. Now you'll find that almost every lesson we will do a little bit of this counting, so that by the end of this course you have already set up your counting properly, so that you find new pieces that you've never done before easier to work out. So now let's play the first line and count it at the same time. Let's see if you can do that. I'll count us in for 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3. Super. You will get better and better at that, at counting and playing at the same time as you go along. But we're just trying it from time to time, just to keep you developing every aspect of your playing. Now let's have a look at the second line now. You have the option there of playing a 4th finger on A or an open E string, and because what comes after the 2 E's is on the E string, I'm choosing the E string, the open E string this time. So I'm going . Bar 5, 6, 7 and 8. So bar 5 starts on 2 crotchets. Those are 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3. Let's play that once again, shall we? From bar 5, just the whole of the second line. 1, 2, 3. That's right. Now in this line we've got crotchets, quavers and a dotted minim at the end. So I'm talking about the second line still. If I have crotchets and quavers in one bar, I will play the crotchets with the whole bow and the quavers with half of one bow. And you keep on going with that same whole bow and half bow playing throughout the second line, except for the last bar, of course, where you go very slowly with your bow. So let's play bar 5 once more, and then when we reach the end, we'll carry on line 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold it there for a moment, because when we get to bar 9, we've just played in bar 8 that very long A that brings us to the heel of the bow. So the quavers at the start of bar 9, we play at the lower half of the bow, this end of the bow. Okay, then when we get to bar 10, you start on a crotchet, whole bow, half, half. And that brings you to the lower half of the bow again. So bar 11 is then played on the lower half of the bow again. Let's see if you can keep up with that. We're starting again at bar 9. So the third line, and we'll go and play the third and fourth lines now. 1 and 2 and 3 and Now here in bar 13 we do use the fourth finger because what comes after the fourth finger stays on the A string, so it makes sense to have all your fingers on the A string there, but make sure that you've got your finger pattern ready with your second finger in its low position because we're just playing one sharp for our key signature. And in the last bar but one, we see a triplet, and this is the first time we come across a triplet in music. A triplet is when you have 3 notes in the time of 1. A triplet is always written twice as fast as the note it represents. So we've got a quaver triplet that represents a crotchet worth, so 1/3 the first beat of the bar. So let's play bar 13 again. 1, 2, 3. When we play 3 notes slurred, like we just did in that triplet, you want to slap your fingers on the string because the articulation needs to be done with the left hand because the bow is just a smooth bow. You can't hear any articulation for each individual note through the bow, so you have to articulate it through the left fingers. So let's try that, shall we? And again. So slap your fingers on the string as hard as you can, and that's nice. One more time. Okay, and now we'll just play the last 2 bars of the first half, starting on the triplet. 2, 3. Well done. Shall we now put it all together and play the whole first half of this piece? 1 and 2 and 3 and well done. What a good start to this piece. Now, let's look ahead and take a look at bar 17. I'm going to play the second half for you, all of it, from 17 to the end of the piece. And let's now look in a little bit greater detail to issues that we come across in that second half. First of all, I notice in bar 23 the D sharp. Now the D sharp is, in this case it comes on the third finger on A, and it is a D that is made higher. So originally your D was actually like that. You had your second finger close together and then it was your D. But now we're going to go a little bit further with my third finger, which means that I've got a space and a half between the second and third fingers. Now, you don't play the second finger here, but we're going straight from 1 to a raised 3. If you find it easier, you might go like this. 1, normal 3, raised 3. Shall we do that again? Now when I play a normal 3, just for practice, I'm going to check that it is the same as my D string. So that should match the D string, and now I can slide it up slightly. And we've spoken about accidentals before. Accidentals get cancelled at the bar line. So after the first D sharp you find the bar line, therefore your D sharp accidental has been cancelled, and then it comes again in the next bar. However, after the second bar with the D sharp in, it's cancelled again, that D sharp, and then when you look at bar 25, the composer has written a D natural in that bar. That natural sign is not strictly necessary there. It's just being kind to you and reminding you. And it means, remember, you used to play a D sharp, but not anymore. That D sharp has been cancelled and now we're on a D again. So let's go from bar 23 on the second beat from that first finger once more, and then we'll carry on. 1, 2, 3, 1. And once you get here, I would suggest that you just test this note with a D string, because that third finger, I think, might by now be a little bit confused. Where are we, on the D sharp or on a D natural? So just to make sure that you're on the proper D natural, test your D there in bar 25 with your open D string. Now when we've sorted that out, we have also come across another triplet in bar 23. So let's practice that one. It's just like the triplet that we did before. You slap your fingers on to articulate it very nicely. And do that again. And one more time. Okay, now let's see if we can join it all up. We're going from bar 17 now. 2, 3. And I think it was lesson 20 when we were talking about a piece of music being made up of sections of the scale and sections of the arpeggio of that key that we're playing. You may remember that at the start of this lesson we played the G major scale and the G major arpeggio, and here in bar 25 you can see almost the whole of the G scale going from the top down, not quite as far down as the open D string, but by the end of that line you have come as low as the D. So the better you are at playing that G major scale, as we did in the beginning of this lesson, the better you are at playing sections like this where you can see, albeit with a couple of little variations, you can see all the notes of the G scale are being used. So let's just practice that line from bar 25 onwards, and then we'll stop at the end of that line. 2, 3. And you can see how so many notes of the G major scale are being used in this line. And now in bar 29 we come to a different section, and we use a bow stroke that we've not yet used at all. 2 notes slurred and 1 note separate bows. I'll play it for you. So when we go from the A string to the D string here, see if you can lift up your elbow like that so that it guides your bow across the string. You want to start that just before you get to the middle of the bow, so that in the middle you're actually going over to the next string. Now your elbow should come down again and up. Now that warrants a separate practice because that is quite intricate bowing. So your elbow wants to come up, then at the end of the bar your elbow needs to go down again because you're on the A string in the second bar of this line. So let's go from 29 again. And lift your elbow up. Stay at the same level with your elbow. Now drop your elbow because we're going to the A string for this B. Lift your elbow up. And now do the same. We're going back to the A string for the next bar. 2, 3. Keep going now. Piece there. Now, as well as counting the piece through, we'll also do a little bit of practice on most lessons, if we possibly can, on practicing letter names of notes. So I suggest that we're going to go from bar 37, which is the last line, and we're just going to see if we can name the letter names of the notes. So I'll allow you time to find out for yourself what letter name the first note is, and then I'll tell you, and then I'll wait a little bit for you to work it out on your own. And then I'll tell you what it is, and so we go along. So the first note in bar 37 is an, and I hope you've just said E. Then the next one is a D, then comes C, then B, then A, then 3 fingers on the A string. In bar 38 the first note is a D, carry on, C, B, A, G, A, B, C, D, F sharp, and the last note in the last line is a G. If you've got all those notes correct, well done, you're doing great with your note learning. If you can't work it out, write a note in the comment section below and I'll talk you through in there. Alright, now let's have a look at the performance directions in this piece. At the start it says F for forte and it says down bow on the first note. We've discussed earlier that you started at the heel of the bow and the quavers are going to be on the lower half. So the first lines, almost to the repeat, are all forte, so you play them loud. Just the last bar relaxes it a little bit and it goes slightly quieter, a diminuendo there. Then you repeat that first section and you're back on your loud playing at the start, and you do the same thing throughout. Then the second half of this piece is a contrasting section, and we're playing it piano. P stands for piano, means quiet. And then the next line is mezzo forte, medium loud. So you go a little bit louder there, so that means you use a little bit more bow, come a little bit closer to the strings. I beg your pardon. Come a little bit closer to the bridge, and you press a tiny bit harder on the bow to create the mezzo forte compared with the piano. Then bar 29, it says piano again, so we're going softer again. So all these dynamic markings are in relation to what has come before. So piano means softer than the mezzo forte section. And that whole line from bar 29 onwards is piano, and then we're getting forte again from the last two lines to the end, except for the last bar is a little bit quieter again. Now then, if we repeat the second half of this piece, you go back to the middle to bar 17, which then carries on piano. So when you repeat it, make sure you don't go too loud on the repeat. So what we're going to do is we're going just a fraction faster, and we'll play this whole piece with a repeat, and with two repeats even, and we're going to add the louds and softs. Now, are you ready for this? 1 and 2 and 3 and... nice you've been able to keep up with that. That is terrific, terrific achievement. Well done. So it might be that after all of that, your shoulders and your neck are a little bit sore. Give them a really good twist in your shoulders and in your arms and your neck, turn your neck, so that it all remains nice and loose. But I'm in awe of what you have achieved today. So that was definitely the longest piece that you've ever played. So well done everyone once again. I hope that you've enjoyed this lesson. I have certainly enjoyed working with you. So please share this series with your friends and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson, and I would say happy practicing and goodbye.